The east of the lake Ridge. Here's the hottest Java.
Yo. Whoop, whoop. Spiritual experience. Right back. Happy New Year. Love all you guys. Come on. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Spiritual experience. We are back. Back in the flesh. You guys just met the big dog, Frank the Tank. Pikachu, Frank the Tank. Yeah, which was nice, man. It was great sitting down with that guy, man. I just met him, a couple of months ago because we do the polar bear dip every Sunday together, and yeah, it's a very rewarding experience. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people think it's like, too cool for school, in the sense of, like I go in, we go in the water and, whatever. It's fucking cold. I'm not going to lie. It's fucking cold. And I post pictures of it online. And let me get comfortable here. And I don't know if it's supposed to be, I know that, it's supposed to be some kind of secret society or whatever in some ways. It's pretty open, We're swimming in the water on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, so people, and it's pretty famous. The New Year's plunge is very, very famous. Which is on New Year's, people come, and then they, we have it organized and we run into the, they run into the water. That's what they do. They run into the water, they dip, and then they come back out, and it's supposed to like start like a whole new, a whole new thing. And that's the thing, to turn over a new leaf or whatever, people starting a year off right. Dog, we were just playing. What were we just playing? Bro, that was Augustus Pablo, Java. It's a little dub reggae. I love, number one, I love Caribbean music. I do. My mom is from the Caribbean. Yeah, and I grew up at a time where Caribbean music... dance hall was played on the radio. Now, they don't even play that shit on the radio anymore. In the 90s and 80s, late 80s, early 90s, it was played in the radio. And, but I always loved, like, roots reggae. Roots, some roots reggae. That was my best, like, Haitian accent. Roots reggae and dub, which is basically kind of like roots, where it has like that slow, mellow vibe. Like, how do you have a fucking grimace face with that kind of stuff on, But they, they use like little sample things like that. Like, it's not purely instrument. It's like electronic. And I think it's fucking dope. And I remember when, in my day, they would take that dub style reggae and they would mix it with jungle music, which I don't know what came first, the egg or the egg. But I remember they used to also, some people would call it drum and bass. And it's like, to me, it was just all called jungle. And there were different kind of jungle music, and it had like that very fat, like, whatever. I don't want to keep embarrassing myself with my fucking, anyway. So, yeah, but it had that with the dub over it. and it was fucking dope. It was fucking dope. So yeah, that's the vibes right now because it's the middle of the winter time. It's gray out, so a little bit of the gray blues are setting in. I have moments of happiness. Overall, I'm really good. But then I have some days where I wouldn't even say moments of happiness. I'm actually really good. I feel pretty good right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I could be better, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, it was. Then I have like these little moments of just like everything sucks, and they last for, I don't know, anywhere between 30 seconds to, I don't know, fucking half an hour. Bro, I couldn't even sleep last night. Last night I woke up in the middle of the night and, yeah, I couldn't go back to sleep, man. My brain was like obsessing. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to get married. Not soon, but before the end of the year, I'm getting married. Before the fall, Bo. And, yeah, I was like, yo, I had this nightmare that, I don't know, 10 years into the marriage, when I'm in my mid-50s, I had a thing where my girl was, she was working in a hospital. Now, I have cousins. Well, number one, shout out to all the nurses who are striking and all that other stuff. I'm sorry I have, like, alleged ADD that I go from subject to subject, but things just pop it in my head, and then I just talk, and then I try and tie it all together. And sometimes I do it skillfully, sometimes I do it willfully. Look at that, you poet didn't know it. Yeah, so yeah, shout out to the nurses, whatever. Either way, so my girl is going to get this kind of certificate where she will be working in some hospitals or something. Hospital settings, doctor's office, I don't know. I think it's vascular sonogram is what she's doing. She can do whatever she wants, Yeah, she can. Man, she's awesome. She's fucking incredible. I would not even know who I am without her. So, yeah. So she's doing that. And so I had this nightmare because, again, I have family members who work in hospitals. And let me tell you, Mr. Magoo, bro, hospitals are like a breeding ground for infidelity. And that is a motherfucking fact. Jack, it's a fact, bro. Hospitals are a breeding ground for infidelity, man. Because it's like, you're working with people 10, 12 hours a day. People got their work husband or their work wifey or whatever. Bro, it's just what it is. It's similar to like the police department. The police department, everybody's fucking each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. I remember I used to say, I would never let my girl work in a fucking hospital. Well, I got the right one. In my mind, I do. But, I can't forget that she's a human being. And humans do human things. Which is like, we're all capable. Nobody's incapable. It's about the choices we make. So this nightmare was that she was out there. She had a whole work boo. And I found out like 10 years from now or something. Or I don't know if it was a work boo or she was just like, doing the nasty with somebody at work in one of them closets or them hidden rooms where there's no cameras and that kind of shit. Because that's the stuff that goes on. I promise you, if you have anybody in your life that works in a hospital and they're your friend and they can be honest with you, they will tell you. They'll tell you. They'll be like, dude, are these people there out there fucking, they're bumping uglies. It's what they're doing. And it's frolicking, whatever. I don't know. And it doesn't matter to them, allegedly, if they're married or not. And that's the thing, man. People think, I don't know. Maybe because we live this kind of unorthodox life where like we had, I had my kid when I was very young. She had kids pretty young. I don't know, maybe she got her kid. Yeah, when she was 20 was the first one. And now you think about it like, wow, man, it's like a baby raising a fucking baby, right? 20 raising a kid. But I always think it's better that way in some ways because you don't have a lot of knowledge on how crazy the world is, and you're just doing, and even if you can't do as much as you would like to do maybe as an older person, like, look, the two kids that I have that I take care of in my house now, well, one of them is a young adult, but basically they are a non-paying freaking tenant. And I get angry at them. I don't say angry. I don't really get angry. I'm just like, well, I can't wait for them to, figure it out. Because, they're not going to take any advice from me. Either way, but they have lived a life that my son never got to live, which is nobody says no to them. And we have enough money that they can do whatever they want within reason. Where my son and I, when it was just him and I, we didn't have that luxury. He didn't really go without essentials, but he didn't really get a lot of extras. Well, they get all the extras, and he, but, I help him out now if I can, whenever I can. I just came back from Texas, and I felt like an adult. I took him to fucking Costco. He's like, Dad, I think I need a Costco card. I was like, this kid doesn't know how to shop. He doesn't know how to, he doesn't know how to prepare. That's what he does. He knows how to execute, but he doesn't know how to prepare, and being prepared only comes from experience. So he's got like, he doesn't have a lot of experience out there on his own. He's been living out there for a couple of years. Before that, he was living in Yonkers. I don't know. He's going to be 28. He moved out of my house. I don't know. Maybe he was 21 or 22, I think, when he moved out. Yeah, man. It's fucking crazy. He's been gone a long time, my little bud. Anyway, so even though like I have more resources now, back then you worked with what you had, and then you got to teach them things with less, I would say, but also there was less expectation on how things are going to work out because you didn't really have any experience. You were like, I'm a young person. This is my kid. I got to, get him some sneakers, get him some clothes, make sure he goes to school, make sure he's fucking clean, keep him away from the whois. Yeah. That was the thing. It was like a joke. Like, what was it? Like, I used to say these things, and they still make me laugh to this day. But now it's like you can't even say these. I couldn't even say this in front of my two non-binary theys that live in my house, whatever. But the parenting 101 was keep the boys off the corner and the girls off the pole. And that was it. And I thought that was fucking sound advice. That and don't eat yellow snow. What else, what else could you really ask for? So, that's the thing now. So, but, with more resources, I'm like, I have all these expectations. Like, these kids got it really fucking good. They get new phones all the time. Bro, phones that cost like $1,000. It's like fucking crazy. When I met their mom, I was like, dude, I'm buying them one phone, and if they break that, they get fucking nothing. Because that's how it was with my son. But apparently, you can't even, it's so bizarre. Okay. So it's like you can't treat, I don't know. You can't really treat one of these theys like a girl. Right? But you can, but you can't. So it's like in the sense where, they get all of the benefit of being a girl, and where they have a dad who just spoils them, because he can. And there's plenty of women out there who don't get spoiled by their dad, but like, that's, boys normally get spoiled by their mama. And dads are responsible for preparing, if you're a real father and not just some, I don't know. Most people's dads in our day, they were fucking miserable, and they were miserable because at one time they thought life was going to unfold in a certain way, and it did not. Life is very non-compliant. So if you are cognizant a little bit, and because I am sober and I have all of these things in my life and all of you people, I'm preparing my son for the non-compliance of life, because that's my job, to turn him into a man, to teach him, a little bit how to respect women. As I learned how to respect, I didn't respect women really until the one I got. And the one that I got now, I didn't even really respect her when I got her. I didn't respect the game. Nothing. I didn't respect the fact that it could be, not that it could be lost at any moment. I understood that, and I didn't respect the fact that that even though I could get another one, do I want another one? Or do I want to learn how to change and appreciate this one? And that's just me. So the people who meet me now can't imagine that I was the way that I was. Even without drinking and doing drugs, that I was just like insanely selfish and whatever. And I think, honestly, I was just fucking 30. Or 30. I met my girl, I'm 43. I met her when I was like, well, you guys know the deal. I met her when I was 5, actually. And I was in love with her then. And then whatever, we found each other again through Facebook in our early 30s, and I was, was coming out of something, and I don't know how long I was out. I was way single. That I know. And yeah, so that was it. So, to teach my son how to respect women, I didn't even know how to do it. So what I taught him was, how to, I guess, kind of stay out of trouble, right? In that sense. Like, I used to tell him all the time like, bro, you got to use rubber, man. Number one is that these were all tied for number one. So I don't know, PEMDAS, right? Order of operations for you youngins that are listening, right? Number one is that if this girl is under the influence, right? It's a good idea to and not tipsy, but I mean under the influence, fucking slurry, dog. You got it. It's not worth the risk. You got to save it for another day. Now, has everybody always followed that rule? No, including me. But here's what my fears were. That my son's a very good-looking kid. I don't even know how me and his mom made him to look like that. He looks like he resembles me a little bit. Well, now he's got this big old fucking hipster beard, which is okay. He's not a hipster, but he's he's himself. He's himself. He may just have that costume on a little bit with the long hair and the beard. The fucking Gandalf. Is that the guy's name? Dumbledore? Gandalf? I don't know. Whatever. The Harry Potter guy. So, yeah. So anyway, I told him, I said, listen, bro, number one, if she's under the influence or whatever, and you guys are both partying a little bit, it's going to get complicated. And you don't want it to be complicated. Complicated in the sense of okay, she may say yes in that moment. And then if you decide the next day that you don't want to call her, or that you're just going to leave her hanging or whatever. If you're going to diss this girl, you know, she could say that she was non-compliant. You know what I mean? And you don't want that. And then what are we going to do? So in order to avoid that, you're going to have to make some choices while you're growing up. And this is me telling him as a young teenager or whatever. Like, bro, you're going to have to make these tough choices, man. I know it's not easy, man. Even as an adult, it's not easy to make those choices. You know, but you're going to have to make them, bro. And if she still wants to get down with you in the morning, when she's wide-eyed and whatever, then that's probably a better bet, you know. So yeah, doing that, you know, that kind of stuff. I said, bro, I said, you're going to have to learn how to tiptoe away. Meaning that you can't just abruptly flat leave somebody. You know, you just can't. You can't. Now I say that out of a term of, you know, you want somebody to feel respected at minimum, right? I mean, because sometimes there's no respect. Sometimes women, bro, I've had women who were married try to play footsie with me, like grown-ass women, you know? And it's not about respect. There's about like, hey, look, you know, animal instinct, right? They think, oh, I'm going to share this moment with this person, and it's going to be crazy, and we're both going to be satisfied, but then we're going to swim away. And nobody swims away unadult, you know, I wouldn't say unadulterated. I don't know if that's the right word. Unaffected. Nobody swims away unaffected. So I was teaching him that. Like, dude, this girl, she's not going to swim away unaffected. So you're going to need to learn if you don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of that, which is either A, she's going to start running around telling shit about you. B, worst case scenario, she's talking about like, yo, you know, I didn't want to do that, and this guy like kind of made me do it. Which is a lot easier today than it was back then. You know, he was born in 95. You know, it definitely, like, you know, took some coercion even in my day. You know, you had to have game, you know, and a little bit of Alizé and, you know, a blunt went a long way, you know, when you're a young teenager or whatever. So I told him, I said, bro, I don't want nobody's brothers or fathers knocking on the fucking door, looking for you. You know, I don't want that kind of problem. You know, so you're gonna have to learn these skills. So if you don't have it in you to really understand that, you need to respect these people, and then you just need to learn how to skillfully tiptoe away when you're done. You know, you don't just ghost anybody. It ain't you know, because it leads to that kind of problem. Then eventually it evolves into like, yeah, you really want to respect them, you know. That was that. And number two, they're all number one. I'm sorry. I used to always say, look, I don't care. I don't care what she looks like, how glistening her fucking skin is or whatever, and she tells you she's on the pill, you cannot afford to believe her. At all. You just can't. Unless you guys are cohabitating and you're seeing her fucking take the pill and all these other things. You can't believe it, bro. Don't believe the hype. So you either have to wrap yourself up in that fucking the semen straitjacket, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Either have to do that, which is the worst, or you're going to have to finish outside of the person, on their belly whatever. I don't know. But yeah. And then clean up your mess and do whatever you got to do. But you cannot be shooting up the club if some fucking young person says they're on there. Yeah. You just can't. And I know I would have pregnancy scares and I would tell him and he would be like, bro, you're fucking breaking the rules. And I'll be like, I know. I fucking know. You know? And I know. I would tell him. I never hid anything from him. So he was, in many ways, nothing was, I did the best I could to make nothing like an introduction for him. You know, and that's what I did. So now the problem is that okay? So now I have these two biological females in my house, and it's hard to teach them. Number one, I'm excited, or I was happy that, you know, up until now they like, you know, whatever, same sex, you know. Maybe one of them likes a little bit of whatever. Maybe one of them likes both, you know. But I was like, oh man, I don't have anything to really warn these people about, except for like, you know, domestic violence. Women be beating on women. That I know. So women be beating on women, whatever. So in some sense, they are, you know, I treat them like little girls. Meanwhile, they don't fucking, you call them a girl? Pff, bro, it's fucking over. So, you know, it puts you as a person in my position, like, yo, how do you treat them? And I'm sure somebody is yelling at the radio or headphones right now at me. And I'm fucking sorry. I don't have all the answers. But how do you treat them? If you treat them like a girl, right? A girl to me, I would want them to be, here's the thing. The other thing is that, like, I didn't have them since inception. These are my stepchildren. And I treat them as if they are my children. They treat me as if I'm their stepdad. Meaning that I don't have complete fucking control over, or the last say of anything. Otherwise, they would have both been fucking savages. Fucking jiu-jitsu, fucking small business people, like whatever. They would have been like fucking Jocko's daughter. I think her name is Raina or something. I would have just did that. But no, like you can't, you know. So you can't treat them like, anything. You got to treat them like how they are. And I don't know how to do that. You know, because I'm like, bro, if you're a girl and life gets really fucking shitty and really fucking hard for you, like you have the ability, you can attach yourself to a man and he can help take care of you, at least provide, if you have a real man. And if you don't, you have a sucker, you can always find a real man. You know, you may have to set aside some things as far as your requirements, but there's enough men out there that somebody will help take care of you. Where if you are a man, you don't have that option. You just have that relentless, unforgiving life is giving you lashes. That's what it feels like sometimes. Like life is just giving you lashes, you know, in different ways. And because we feel like that, most men, if you talk to him and he's real honest, he feels like that. They're very dismissive. And I know because I was the same way. Women have a different set of problems, you know. And that's whatever their problems are, that's what they are. But they have them. They're definitely treated as less than in some ways, but as more than in other ways. You know, it's not a whole like, oh, women are all second-class citizens. Like, are you bugging, bro? That's not the fucking case. So now when you have these, you know, I guess trans kids or whatever, as a parent, you're just like, dude, like, what the fuck? Who am I? You know? Who am I? Or who are they? What am I preparing them for? You know? I mean, listen, they love to play, not just my kids, but most people on earth love to be victims. You know, men will be like, oh, if you only knew what I had to fucking do, blah, 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 you know? And then women are like, how dare you, bro? Society pays us less money and, guys are hitting on us and we have to worry about being attacked and all these other things, which are all very true. All of it's very true. So everybody has a different set of pressures, but, how do you prepare them for what pressures you think they're going to get? Meanwhile, they live a very, I don't want to say affluent, because what's affluence? I think they do live an affluent life. They do. We don't live extravagantly, but there's nothing that they could absolutely need that we cannot 100% provide for without, we can do it without disruption. And maybe they don't understand or appreciate that. Well, like even the middle one, she's the oldest one that's in the house. They are the oldest one. They were like, yo, I want to get an apartment. I'm making enough money. My fiance, because they're engaged to a Lithuanian girl who is growing on me a little bit at a time. I really like her. Maybe she's who knows? Maybe she'll stick around. But like if they were like, okay, we both make this much money every month, blah, blah, blah. Like I can just blink and say, okay, here's X amount of dollars, first month, last month security. I'll co-sign a lease for you. You can go live wherever. That's pretty it's pretty good. That's I would say that's affluent, right? I don't want to say they're spoiled. That's not really spoiled. Maybe a little bit. But they, we can call them, I don't know. I don't want to use the wrong word. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. I would say like they're in, sometimes they feel a little bit entitled. Like, But yeah. So they have that. And, where does that leave the rest of us? Right? That the ones that we're already here. So, you have all these pressures. Everybody has all these different pressures. And then all of a sudden, they're there in the workplace, right? In the hospital. The guy's feeling one pressure. Some lady's feeling another pressure. And their suffering is like, oh, well, you look good in the nurse's uniform or scrubs. I don't want to say, you look good in the scrubs. I look good in the scrubs. And they can get some kind of relief. And I think that's what happens. Yeah, they get, they get relief. Like the relief of, well, I can just slide off over here and go back to that feeling of not having any responsibility and of just like, almost like the first 6 months of you dating somebody and she's just like everything is beautiful and blissful and whatever. And it is. It really is. But it's, it's not the same as like the long, deep river of love that gets built by going through things together, going through life together, and without stepping outside of that. So some people, because they're just being people, they are susceptible to that. And the stage is set, especially if, let's say, they start making babies and get married in their early 20s. Then all of a sudden they're like in their early 30s and they've been taking lashes, Maybe the lady lets herself go a little bit because she's just being a mom and just going to work every day and fucking doing charts or doing whatever they do. And the guy is like, You know, he has the same kind of woman at home, maybe, but just, you know, they're in the soup. You know, they're in the soup. And then the guy just looks at the woman at his job different than he looks at his wife, because she can't tell him what the fuck to do. And she's just like, my husband's an idiot. And this guy's cute enough. And I can just forget about all that madness for 8 minutes in a closet. You know? And that's what was going through my fucking brain at like 2 a.m. That any of that is, it's all on the menu. That's what I said. It's all on the menu. Any of it's possible. It's like you go to a restaurant, bro. I can either behave or I can go full-blown madman. You know, it's all on the menu. It all depends, you know. So I got that fear because my woman, as much as a glowing example of humanity she is, she's also a human, you know. And I know how I feel about her and about how lucky I feel that we're still together, and that maybe we understand the perils of pushing that little feel-good button, you know, because nobody's going to say that it probably feels incredible in the moment. Anything that you can do to satisfy discomfort in the moment always feels incredible. You know, but then the pain and the suffering comes after that. You know? So what I do, or what I try to focus on, is how do I live my life where I can make choices and decisions on how my life actually is panning out, so I'm not often finding myself in a Groundhog's Day position where I would have to not even contemplate, where I might be submitting to one of those, lashes or whatever. I submit to one of those desires. I'm going to use the word desires. You know? So I don't even really judge anybody when that happens. I judge the situation. I don't judge people for being people. I do my best not to, because I'm around enough open-minded and open-hearted people that we can discuss these things together, where it kind of takes the sting off of the judgment. I can just say, hey, look, if I'm, like it says, like we were talking about with Frank the Tank, bro, if I'm not in the barbershop, I can't get the haircut. You know, I can learn how to cut my own hair, or I can do whatever, you know, but like, you know, people, places, and things, we call that in AA, NA, 12 steps, whatever. Got to stay away from people, places, and things, because, you know, we all are human. And, you know, for people who have the afflictions that I have, you know, so a lot of times the brakes don't work, you know. They just don't. In the moment, you know, you're asking a lot. So I'm almost never in that moment, because I don't put myself in those kinds of situations, you know, I guess willingly. Like sometimes, listen, you know, I've been in people's homes where they gave me that energy, and, you know, then you got to make a choice, right? They give you that energy, you know, for my work. And I just start talking about my kids and my woman. And it normally pours water on all of that, because then we come out of the la la land that is brewing, and that la la land may be 18 seconds or 18 minutes. I don't know. but I can smell when it's coming. And just to protect myself from myself, you know, because I'm not going to judge some lady. It's like, hey, look, here's the guy who comes into the house and does this kind of work and whatever, does this stuff. And instead of her being in a hospital, she's a stay-at-home mom, and her husband's fucking doing whatever he's doing, and who knows what's going on. It's like, here's a moment where I can just get some relief. And, you know, who doesn't want that? And, you know, but it all comes at a price. It all comes at a price. So whenever I see that or smell that, I just like, bro, I know how to pour water on it. It's like I said, I talk about my kids, talk about my lady, this, that, and the third. And then, you know, they snap out of it. And it's good because it keeps me out of it too, because as a human, you know, you can go into fantasy land. And it's like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Like, dude, I can lay in a bed with my woman who is fucking sick, OnlyFans, Instagram hoe, video hoe hot, if you're asking me. And if you're asking a lot of other people, because I see the way men look at her, and I love that. I do. I don't even get offended. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. I'm about to Greg the Hammer Valentine that thing, you know? And she's so good. She's such a good person. And she's helped me become who I am now, which is out of the fear of losing her as a human. Man, she's empathetic, she's kind, she takes good care of me, takes good care of the kids, incredible cook, selfless person. She'll do whatever it takes when the fire is high. When the flames are on, she'll do whatever it takes. You know, we have to work together to keep the flames low, you know, because I always say that I'm better at life than she is, but she is better at being a human than I am. That's what makes us great. It makes us a good couple. So, yeah, so I get to, bro, I would be so stupid. You know, I'd be so stupid to throw that opportunity away, because now, like I said, you know, we're 43 and now we're getting married. And we've been engaged for a long time. We've been together a long time. It's, 10 years maybe. Engaged 7 years. I don't know. But like, yeah. And we both came with our previous life's luggage. And we sift through and we help each other. And we hurt each other plenty on the way. That's not to say that didn't happen. But there was nothing that was, apparently here we are. We're still here, you know. So, and I think that maybe I have to believe that if we did it differently, we wouldn't be here. So yeah, we make those choices as we're, getting older and as we're growing up. And I've never grown up more in my life than when I was scared to lose something that I always, that I perceived to be out of reach. I'd say she's out of my league. That's like a self-deprecating actual understatement. But somebody who has influenced me to do whatever I needed to do to become the best version of myself is, yeah. It's like, it's like a winning lotto ticket. I'd be dumb to throw it away. And on what? On 8 minutes in the closet with somebody. No way, dude. Like, number one, she don't deserve that shit on any level. She just doesn't. As a human being, she don't deserve it. Yeah, it's hard to justify that on any level for anybody, but I don't know everybody else's situations. The more and more that we've tumbled down this road, we've run into people who've tried, I'm going to use air quotes, open relationships. We're like, come on, dog. You know, open relationships and adultery. And most of my friends that did it the OG way, I went to college or met a girl in college or met a girl right after college or vice versa, and we got married, and almost all of them are divorced. Almost all of them. You know? Because you're asking a lot of a young person. The few that have made it all the way through their 20s and their 30s, now they're in their 40s and they're together, and they're still happy. Bro, there's people who fucking torture each other. And they're still married because they got kids and this and that. And, you know, yeah, it's crazy to me. You know, but it's also not my plate of food. Bro, I do not allow, well, number one, I've only really had one or two women. If I really thought about it, maybe two, that really spoke down to me. And most of it is because I was speaking down to them. Everybody. I spoke down to the whole world. It wasn't just them. So, but like, only like, you know, because I was very, in some ways, like traditional. Like, bro, women, they don't talk down to their man. They can only do that if you're not like a real man who's really bringing something to the table. You could say whatever you want to me, but if I'm bringing shit to the table, then like, you know not to say, you ain't going to talk down to me, you know, or just like, yeah. And I see that. Even if they stay together, they're like, bro, it's just not, they're not being nice to each other, regardless of the circumstances sometimes can bring the worst out of people. But then over time, like, you know, you learn how to be fucking nice, man. You know, there's guys that I know and women that I know that like, bro, they're like verbally and like, listen, now I'm being a softie, right? So it's like, yo, if my woman ever looked at me and called me like a fucking loser, dude, I would like contemplate slapping her in her fucking face or jumping out the window. That's it. I might give her a slap and then jump out the window. Or that would be like such a huge strike. Oh my God, if she said that to me. She can call me a cocksucker, motherfucker, self-it, like whatever. But you call me like, yo, you're a fucking loser? Like, dude, no way. Fucking no way, man. No way. That means you, that's how you look at me. That's how you see me. Even in those angry moments, I've never really had that. I mean, I had people who spoke down to me. Man, this one girl, she told me to eat a dick. And when when you're embarrassed to talk to your friends about how your partner is talking to you, something is wrong. Something's wrong. If you're embarrassed to be like, yeah, she called me an ass or whatever it is. Like, bro, you should never, because to me, there's like lines and there's limits. And there's lines you can't look. Let me tell you something. My girl could come after me with a fucking knife. I'm being all the way a buck with it. She can. But if she called me a loser, or she could tell me I had a little dick. So what? But what am I gonna do? I mean, it's not true, I promise. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know about that. I don't even know why I said that's not true. Who fucking knows it, bro? She ain't complaining. But yeah, but you do that stuff, is fine. And you're angry, you can throw something. I get it, But you like I said, just even that word, a loser, bro. You're a fucking loser. You'll never be anything. You're full of shit. Well, I don't even know what else. I'd be like, nah, man. That's over the line. You can even take a swing at me. Good luck hitting me. I better be sleeping, man, because, I can bob and weave. I block pretty good. But, yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that I can be nice, that I learned how to play nice and how to be nice. I'm grateful that, when I went to spend time with my son in Austin, that it was good. We had a great time. We spent a bunch of money, and I guess we had it. But it was nice to do that and be there with him. I said, yeah, your money's no good for the week. Took him out to all the restaurants that he can't go to every day after day. Because he's a young person. You don't have the fucking escaro. You don't have it. I'm like, bro, we eat here, we eat whatever you want. It's good, man. You're paying your bills. You're trying to be a stand-up fucking dude. You ain't blasting me, hitting me up for money, whatever. Come on, man. We'll get all the shit for your dog. Take you. We got him a little Costco card. Took him shopping. Filled up his fridge. Showed him how to fucking move. I'll say this, and then I felt like a different level of parenting when I was doing that. Showing him like, yo, this is how you make the money stretch a little bit, which is good because, listen, he's doing other money moves that I'm like showing him, and he's making them, so he's gonna be okay as long as he doesn't go off fucking script, So that was nice to be able to. So I felt like a different level of being a dad, And Austin is like very. Austin, listen, the progression, is that the right word? I wouldn't even say progress. I say evolution. The evolution is televised, and it's in your motherfucking face. Bro, they got squeegee men out there, and they got skyscrapers, and they have these. We stayed on the east side of Austin, which was cool. And I just, bro, I would like to be in the culture. I don't like to be, a colonizer, if you want to call it that, or a yuppie. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I knew we were near the right side of town. We're on the side of a building. It said Tejas instead of Texas, like Tejas. I took a nice picture of that, and that was fucking cool. And there were Mexicans everywhere. And they were cool. I met a couple of. I saw one kid who was all the way loked out, with the fucking all the blue shit on. I guess he was whatever gang that is, and that was cool. But then near the Airbnb, it was an Airbnb was in a brand new building that was across from another building that was I wouldn't say Section 8, but it was definitely lower income housing. There were guys out there fixing their cars and doing whatever, and right across the street, bro, was the fucking ultimate. I'm ashamed to be a white person and know what this shit is because it's the fucking worst. But a fucking pickleball court. And people were playing pickleball. And I had to explain to I was like, oh my God, this is the fucking worst. I had to explain to my girl what pickleball is. She's like, what's pickleball? I was like, oh my God, the pickleball. I said, this whole neighborhood's fucking over. She's like, what's pickleball? Because, she don't know. She don't travel around the city like that to see all this stuff. We live in a very ethnic neighborhood. There's Chinese, Arabs, Spanish, mostly Mexicans. There's a couple of Puerto Ricans and some leftover, Guineas. And there's Eastern Europeans too. It's all in a 5-block radius, there's probably maybe 20 nationalities, which is cool. And that's what we like. And listen, we can afford to live, you know, somewhere else, but we don't, because we like to be with real people. You know, I don't like to be anonymous. So either way, so that's why. And she works in Sunset, Gunset, on the near the water, and yeah. So she don't know what fucking pickleball is. And I'm just, listen. That's how I know who I'm talking to, whether or not they even play. If you play pickleball, I'm like, okay, I get it. You know. Either way, so I basically told her, listen, it's like fucking lazy tennis, is what it is. And it's the ultimate, it's like fucking when you saw somebody with a hacky sack. You know, you're just like, okay. Now, there were some cool people who played hacky sack, and then there were some guys who were like, you know, wore those freaking Baja hoodies, you know, similar to somebody who has like, who rides a skateboard that's attached to a fucking phone. Like with the app and the board just moves. It's disgusting. There's no culture there. Or maybe the culture is pickleball and curling and fucking pumpkin spice and all these like things that I find bland. And maybe that's why they find me like a little bit off. Some of those people, it's hard for me to connect with some of them. If they can be human, I can be human too. Like I ain't playing fucking pickleball. Listen, I'll play ping pong. I'm not going to call it table tennis, but I'll play ping pong, and I'll fuck motherfuckers up, bro. I'm good at that shit. We had a ping pong table in my house. Plus, I went to summer camp, and I spent plenty of times in group therapy places when I was a kid where they had ping pong tables. I know how to slice and dice a Fisher-Price MC. Thought it was nice, into-minute rice. Shout out Big Daddy Kane. So, yeah, you know, that's what we got going on. Going to get some more guests in the house. Some updates from some of the people we got down with last year, which is going to be cool. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share our shows with all your friends. We're on every platform, you know, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever. I don't know what their names are, Stitcher or something, Pandora, everywhere. Just look us up. We'll see you guys on the next side, man. Peace. We want to thank you all for joining us today. And please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms and find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.